This is the Jagannath Temple in Puri, one of India's most prestigious Char Dham pilgrimage sites. Its massive 12th century spires, founded by the Eastern Ganga dynasty, stand as a monument to the peak of medieval Hindu architecture and state power. During the Snana Yatra, high-ranking Brahmin priests lead the public bathing of the wooden deities. They pour water from 108 sacred pitchers, chanting Vedic mantras to purify the idols before the eyes of the masses. Following the bath, the idols are dressed in the Gajabesha, an elephant attire governed by strict scriptural laws that dictate every fold of the fabric and every offering made. These rituals culminate in the Rath Yatra, where the Gajapati king himself performs a ceremonial sweeping of the chariots. It is a highly stratified display of royal patronage and religious hierarchy. These grand public ceremonies reinforce the image of the temple as an impenetrable fortress of Brahmin orthodoxy, where every movement is dictated by ancient, high-caste Sanskrit traditions. Immediately following this public bath, Lord Jagannath is said to catch a fever. He is then moved into a special room called the Anabasaragada for 14 days of total seclusion. During this period, the Orthodox Brahmin priests are barred from the inner sanctum. They are considered ritualistically unnecessary while the deity is in this vulnerable, unwell state. The only individuals permitted to cross the threshold and care for the god are the Daitapatis, a class of priests who operate entirely outside the standard Brahmin hierarchy. These priests trace their ancestry back to the Sabata tribe. They are an indigenous, aboriginal community that existed in Odisha long before the rise of the organized Hindu temple. The preservation of the deity depends on this paradox. When the god is at his most fragile, the survival of the entire Hindu cult rests in the hands of its ancient tribal ancestors. This authority comes from a foundational myth. The Savara chief Vishvavasu was the very first person to worship the deity in the forest, centuries before the first stone of the temple was laid. Because of this lineage, the Daitapatis are considered the literal blood relatives of Lord Jagannath. They treat the wooden idols not as statues, but as senior members of their own clan. During the sickness of Anabasara, they apply secret indigenous medicines and forest-derived treatments to the idols' bodies, performing sevas strictly forbidden to outsiders. This connection is most visceral during the Navakalabara ritual, the rare process of replacing the aging wooden idols with new ones every 12 to 19 years. The Daitapatis hunt for the sacred neem wood, carve the new forms, and transfer the secret soul from the old idol to the new. When the old body is buried, the Daitapati families go into full funeral mourning, shaving their heads as if they had lost a father. This familial bond demonstrates how mainstream Hinduism absorbed tribal nature worship, transforming an ancient forest deity into a global icon while remaining dependent on its original protectors. To maintain this tribal bloodline for nearly 1,000 years, the Daitapati community follows a rigid and highly complex social system. The genealogy shows a dual origin: ancestor Bidyapati and his two wives, one a Brahmin, the other the Savara chief's daughter. These lineages branch into the Swain, Dash, and Das Mahapatra clans, each holding hereditary rights to the god's body. Members of these families must follow grueling purity laws. They endure the Habisa fast, consume strictly unspiced food, and abstain from basic comforts, all to maintain ritual readiness. For the Daitapatis, priesthood is a biological mandate. Every aspect of their social and family life is engineered to serve as the living scaffolding for the deity's physical existence. Despite their supreme spiritual status as the family of a god, the Daitapatis face a growing material crisis. Many families now live below the poverty line. Traditional compensation for their bi-monthly service can be as little as $11. While the temple administration has recently introduced stipends of 50,000 rupees, many families still struggle with basic economic security. This financial instability is driving a generational shift. Younger Daitapatis are increasingly looking outside the temple walls for their future. It is now common to find Daitapatis working in real estate or hospitality. They return to the temple only during major festivals to perform their hereditary duties before heading back to their 21st century careers. This creates a constant tension between the ancient requirements of tribal purity and the simple necessity of surviving in a capitalist society. If the Daitapati lineage fails, it would sever the last living link between modern Hinduism and its ancient tribal roots, collapsing the unique syncretic soul of the Jagannath tradition.